Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street, in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators, bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. Quantum computing is where scientists and engineers go when they need to solve the most complex and difficult problems. And with me is Hunter Gaylor with New to the Street, and also Bill McGann, who is the Chief Technology Officer at Quantum Computing Incorporated, to explain what the company is doing and quantum computing in general. And I'll kick things off, and then we can both kind of chip in here. So there's something you've got, Bill, entropy quantum computer. So can you explain what that is, what kind of problems it may solve?
Sure, and thanks for allowing me to be here with you this morning. So yeah, entropy quantum computing is a new concept for quantum information processing. And unlike the typical architectures that people are developing and talking about today, which are using semiconducting, sort of superconducting pairs of electrons, or ion based formulations where they're building these pristine qubits, the systems that we're developing and designing are based on using the sources of what those systems would consider to be noise that they're trying to eliminate, and we're using them as a useful source of energy. So we're using the entropy of the environment to actually solve very complex quantum-based problems in the case of specific examples for constrained optimization. So examples would be very complex problems in supply chain, logistics, finance, even some of the areas of medical science where you are dealing with problems that contain lots of complex variables that have lots of interactions among them to build solutions to these problems that provide efficient answers to the world.
No, it's really incredible. And you spoke to a couple of the use cases, Bill, and one of them was finance. And there was a recent article that just came out about your company, which I found really incredible, that you're using your quantum systems with Rabobank for fraud detection. Can you talk to a little bit?
Sure. It's one of our first instances in the finance. We have a couple of others, but we've been working in partnering with them, going over what our technology can do in terms of their solutions. In the case of fraud detection, you're looking at very, very large sets of data that can either have a temporal base element to them, or they could have different sort of communities or clusters of observations. And because they can be connected in very complex ways, we can use our entropy quantum computer and even some offshoots of that in our quantum machine learning applications to try to identify these anomalous transactions that would be considered fraudulent. So it's a new area. Our technology is very powerful. We've done some good demonstrations of our capabilities, which has led to this relationship with Rabobank. Very excited to solve some of those problems.
And on that note, there are other companies in the quantum space. Can you talk about how you are different from these other quantum computing solutions? So what makes you valuable and unique?
Yeah, as I alluded to earlier, so one of the real unique features of our core technology is that because we're using the environment as a source of energy rather than treating it as a source of noise, our systems can be constructed and architected very simply. Namely, they can run at room temperature. They run at very low levels of power, so their size, weight, power, or so-called swap-C values are really efficient compared to the architectures that you are familiar with out there. The other thing that's really unique is that we can solve problems that are highly connected. So I alluded to the fact that real-world problems tend to have a lot of complexity in terms of the number of variables that can cause an effect or a result. And those variables interact with each other. Okay, so many of the other systems out there today are not able to efficiently connect or make all the interconnections among those variables and can only give partial solutions. And we work very well with complex, dense problems that are of a scale that is interesting to the world today, not 3 years from now.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. But fascinating, and the applications, I mean, are really exciting too, I think, for the future.
It really seems like it's a game changer in the industry, and that's what's really exciting about this. Hopefully one day we can get an intro, because photonic, whatever.
Come visit us in our lab. We'll do a demo of all those things I talked to you about.
That's really incredible. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
The Sustainable Green Team is a leading provider of environmentally conscious solutions in the arbor care, disposal, and recycling industry. We are a vertically integrated green manufacturer of green waste to usable product solutions. We recently partnered with VRM Biologic, which includes manufacturing and distribution rights for world-leading soil moisture technology, Humisoil, and XLR8 Bio. Find us on the OTCQX as the stock ticker SGTM. The time to invest in the future of sustainability is now for this generation and future generations.
So let's start with what's new with Sustainable Green Team this month.
With Sustainable Green Team, we're planning we're envisioning an engagement in the Middle East where we give a visual representation to people who will come to COP28, which will be held in Dubai, of what can be done by the combination of the technology we bring and the capacity that SGTM brings. So we're planning to build out of coloured mulch in the desert a flag that people can fly in over and see from the air. And under that, we're planning to improve the soil using local waste incubated with our technology to grow water underneath the flag and grow plants through the flag, so people can, as they come in to prepare for COP28 over the next 12 months, they can learn what kind of leadership is in that region that has taken up this kind of technology to, at scale, improve the desert.
Mm-hmm. And then what about the event in Florida?
We were lucky enough to be invited by the management team of SGTM on the 15th and 16th of December to their inaugural global convention. So both Ken and I are featured speakers there, featured guests. What we hope to do is to broaden the relationships with all of the team, and also to extend that knowledge transfer, the training component of which I am responsible all over the world.
And just talk about 2023. I mean, we're looking ahead to a new year. What are your goals, missions for next year? Maybe you could both weigh in on this.
Yeah, so the ultimate objective is to have an impact on 25% of the world's arable land. So to have a component that's adding the rebuilding of that much land. That's millions and millions and millions of acres. Not such an easy task. So in 2023, we want to build that capacity. We can do some of that here in the US. We'll do some in other parts of the world. Together with SGTM, that means we'll be collecting and securing feedstock to build the catalyst for soil in a number of locations all over the US. And then we'll be partnering with people who are users of that, so large agricultural producers and people who want to do a social responsibility or have a social responsibility impact on large areas of land. We're forming partnerships there. So 2023 looks very interesting.
One of the key elements for us as well is to expand into the retail area in the US. So we've already seen a big uptake in interest in home gardeners, in people growing small vegetable farms. Those people, those potential customers, are very keen to get their hands on Humisoil, and we are really keen to be able to get out there and help them learn how to use it.
So don't forget that the US is in drought in 2023. Almost the whole country. So a lot of the water that's left is being used by cities. So to the extent that every American can get the Humisoil and mulch in their yard to prevent the water going out of their soil or their grass dying, for example, to the extent that that can happen, water can be diverted back to agriculture. it's a drought. We've got to think about that kind of thing. So in the Middle East, in the region in general, there are some available organic materials. One of them is human waste, biosolids. Another is food waste. In order to process those two elements safely, you also need a carbon-based, a fiber-based material to join with those in the safe processing of that material so that you can use it back in agriculture. So the intention is to help with that. We bring material that's already been processed, that's already had that process kick-started in it, and speed up the processing of those two huge waste volumes, millions and millions of tons of food waste, and millions of tons of biosolids that are currently sitting unused. So bringing them together with wood waste and carbon-based material, wood fibres from here that we've processed and carefully taken care of, putting that in the process means that's available for use in repairing soil in the region. So we've had the good fortune of visiting with the governments and representatives from various governments in a number of different countries in the region. I think it's no secret that there are numerous very well-intentioned programs to restore trees and vegetation in each of the countries in the region. We see that as real-world leadership. That we can talk about impacts in managing various things in policy, but a policy that says we want to actually rebuild the soil and rebuild the vegetation, that's a real thing. So there are some very strong leaders in the region that we want to deliver some success to and then feature their success.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Do your employees use Zoom? Do your employees use Microsoft Teams? Professionals need enhanced security. AdZerify's Defender for the only secure, zero-trust video conferencing protection. Your employees, clients, and patients deserve it.
American Rebel calls itself America's patriotic brand. They sell safes, firearms, accessories, things like that. And with me is the CEO, Andy Ross, to tell me more about the company. And we touched on this a little bit when you were here a few weeks ago, but tell me again about the history and how did American Rebel start? American Rebel started, it's really a great organic story of the American dream come true. I had a TV show for 10 years on the Outdoor Channel, Sportsman's Channel, called Maximum Archery World Tour. I bow hunted the world on outdoor TV for 10 years. And while I was doing the show, I made a little music for the show, right? I wrote some hunting songs, some campfire songs coming in and out of commercials, the intro, songs like Gotta Go Hunting Blues, Hunt Me Down, Support Your Local Wildlife, Blood Trail on a Whitetail. And they were kind of themed around the show. But when digital file sharing and iTunes came out, they actually did real well. And a lot of artists in Nashville, a lot of country artists, watched my show because they're hunters, and the next thing I know, I'm getting opportunities to write with really accomplished artists. Next thing I know, I end up going to Nashville and making an album, and I've made 4 now. We've made 4 albums of music. The music's doing really well, and I had a song called American Rebel in 2015. It became a patriotic anthem, went viral, and me and Doug Grau, my producer manager, now president of American Rebel, and Corey Lambrick, lead outside director, we thought, why don't we build a brand around this momentum, this synergy, this energy we got with this music and this vibe. And there was only one name to call it, American Rebel, right? So American Rebel was born. Next thing I know, that was 2015. February of this year, we ended up being uplisted to NASDAQ. Yeah. So I'm now the CEO of a publicly traded company. So, a kid with a passion for bow hunting ends up with a TV show, ends up with a music career, ends up the CEO of a publicly traded company, and finds himself blessed today to be sitting here with you. I know, it sounds like an awesome life, actually. And you really you made a recent acquisition, right? Tell me about that. So while we were making our concealed carry products, making our gun safes, we used an OEM manufacturer, and this OEM manufacturer also owned a brand called Champion and a brand called Superior. So again, our OEM factory, 2 factories, we just, as he got up in years and was thinking about, pulling it to the curb and retiring and slowing down a little bit, he had done a lot of business with us and we had a good relationship.
and we were the ones fortunate enough to buy his company.
Yeah.
So we now own Champion, Superior, as well as American Rebel, of course. We own the factories. We have distribution centers, 5 distribution centers around the country, and we have almost 400 retail stores buying our product.
Yeah. So what's next for American Rebel?
Oh, what's next? We're on our way to become America's patriotic brand. So we've got some new product launches. We've got our 2A lockers we'll be introducing in January at the SHOT Show in Las Vegas, and we also have our full line of e-bikes that we'll be introducing. Some people have asked me, they've said, you know, e-bikes, that's a little bit of distance away from safes. Well, a lot of our stores are full-blown sporting goods stores, and they would love to see American Rebel dartboards, American Rebel kayaks. They want to see all kinds of American Rebel products, and the market of e-bikes right now is just absolutely exploding.
It's huge in New York, yeah.
And we've got a good bike too. We've got a good line. We're not, you know, e-bikes are also becoming, they're great transportation. Obviously, they're a lot of people, you know, like the green story around them. But they're also becoming a sport like X Games. I mean, people are doing trail riding and mountain biking, and you know, they're fun. They're a sport as well as transportation. So we've got an on-road off-road, and an off-road e-bike that we're excited to show the world.
So how can somebody find out more about American Rebel and Andy Ross?
Well, you can go to our social media, of course. Everything's at American Rebel, at Andy Ross Rebel. Or AndyRoss.com or AmericanRebel.com, and we would love to have you be a part of our patriotic family and help us grow this great brand.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Andy.
Happy to do it. Thank you.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. If we didn't have partnerships and trust, nothing would move forward. We like to get to know the core of the client. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
Hempacco is a hemp cigarette company that is looking to disrupt the tobacco industry, and they have a new joint venture to talk about as well. So with me is Sandro Piancone, the CEO of Hempacco, and also Dr. Stuart Titus, the chairman of the company, as well, chairman of the board. So tell me about your new joint venture. It's called Organipure, right?
Organipure. So we're very excited. We were here last time talking. We were talking about disrupting the trillion-dollar tobacco industry.
Trillion. It's hard to believe it's that big.
Right. So it's a worldwide number, and what we're trying to do, we believe the holy grail is taking the smell out of hemp and marijuana, cannabis, but in our scenario it's hemp. So we did a joint venture with a company called High Sierra Technologies, and what we did is we formed a joint venture called Organipure, and this joint venture, we have the patent to take the smell out of hemp cigarettes.
Okay.
So very exciting.
Yeah, so does it work?
Well, so we were at the beginning, we hear a lot of things, and we said, does it really pass the smell test?
Yeah.
So we did what we're going to do with you. So this is what hemp, this is organic hemp from California.
So this is smelling, right? Okay,
yes.
Smells, yeah.
It smells very, so you can just imagine if you lit this outside, and this is the one with the new technology.
Okay, this is glass too, I got to be careful, right? Yeah, no, definitely is a different smell.
Yeah,
right.
so it takes the actual smell out of the hemp product, and so now there's no odor, and then what we can do is now with technology we have, which we license, we can put new terpenes back on there. So we actually have a tobacco smell that we can put on there. We also have different terpenes, we have flavors that we put back onto the smokable product.
Do you have a patent on that?
So HSTI does, High Sierra Technologies has a patent. It's a worldwide patent. And with our joint venture now, we have an exclusive worldwide joint venture to take this product worldwide.
So who invented this?
So the gentleman, he's a PhD. His name is Dr. Vince Lombardi.
That's his name?
That's his name, Dr. Vince Lombardi. You will not forget that. Yeah. He is based out of Reno. He's actually a professor at the University of Reno, and he is the CEO of High Sierra Technologies. And we met him about a year ago. We were fascinated with the technology, and we call it the Holy Grail of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, so I mean, what are those things that can really make a difference in terms of sales? Dr. Titus, do you have anything to chip in here on this?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, very exciting about this technology. I think it's going to be a total game changer for the industry. I mean, you know, many people like the benefits of cannabis, but don't want to smoke during the day because it gets on their clothes and people know that they're smoking. But all of a sudden, if you can take the smell out, I believe this is going to increase the usability of cannabis.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting too because you walk around the streets and you'll smell cannabis in New York, but this is one way that, you know, maybe you can get rid of that.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. And just think, we think of the possibilities. We do a lot of trade shows in Las Vegas. And so when you're in a casino, you can go ahead and light a cigarette, a Marlboro, and that's okay. But if you light a hemp cigarette, they will ask you to leave.
What?
And our hemp cigarettes are legal, but we understand, and they ask them to leave. Now with this new technology,
yeah, they won't even know. So what's your idea then to take it to market?
So our plan is just like in the cigarette industry where there's a red and a gold and a green for menthol. So we have our brands that we talked about, which are the Cheech and Chong brands, the Hemp Hop by Rick Ross, and the Real Stuff. We will have those same brands under this no odor technology. So some of the market likes the smell. The early adopters like the smell of cannabis. This will be an alternative to that. So you'll be able to get those great brands, those great flavors, but with a no smell technology.
Yeah, and then let's just talk real quick about, because hemp is legal. I mean, it was part of the 2018 Farm Bill. You're a publicly traded company here at the NASDAQ. I mean, I think a lot of people still get hemp and cannabis and stuff all mixed up. So can you explain?
We talk about that every day. It's education, education, educate. We're the first publicly traded company on the NASDAQ, hemp smokable company. It's legal. It's legal in all 50 states. We ship all over the world where hemp is legal. And so, yes, this should be just like any other product that you're outside and be able, but because of the smell, that's what sometimes causes the person to say, oh, that's cannabis.
To be confused by it, yeah. Anything final words on this, Dr.
Exactly. Well, certainly this is a great movement in America. We've seen a tremendous move with now the non-psychoactive forms of cannabis really taking tremendous hold. We have 64 million Americans who are regular CBD users, and certainly this is a great way to absorb that CBD more directly into the cardiopulmonary system, so you really get the tremendous benefit of CBD when you do the hemp smokables.
Now, is there like a health benefit, or like what, or is this more of a relaxation thing?
This is relaxation.
Okay.
So CBD is our products are another delivery vehicle for CBD. So you can take the tincture, put it underneath your tongue. You can take a gummy, or if you like to go outside or smoke with your friends, you could have one of our products and enjoy the benefits of smoking.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Great to be with you. Thank you again.
Thousands of people use Phantom every day to access DeFi, NFT, Metaverse, and GameFi decentralized applications. On Phantom, you can trade, lend, and borrow in a fully decentralized way with instant speed and near zero fees. Whether you're an artist or a collector, there's a rich and accessible NFT ecosystem to explore. Join your friends in the Metaverse for exciting digital experiences or play revolutionary Web3 games. Join Phantom today.
Justin Waiau is a blockchain expert with a lot of different projects going on in the sector. So with me, Justin, and I know you're working with Legacy. We've talked about that before, LootUP, and now CannaLoot. So let's talk about each one of those projects. Let's start with Legacy, because that was really the original one, right? So give me an update on that.
So the way it kind of structures is Legacy is the foundation, right? It's the blockchain that the other apps are building on. So with Legacy, our newest updates is we have new APIs, new documents. We've recently updated our wallet extension, and most importantly, our comprehensive developers guide. So yeah, although this has been a bad year for layer ones, a lot of exploits, the market's been down, we feel confident that anyone can build on Legacy and feel safe about it. You know?
So it's really for developers who want to have an idea for an app and they want to build it on the blockchain, and they can use Legacy as like kind of their infrastructure or whatever to be able to do that. Okay, so then there's LootUP, and now CannaLoot. Is it CannaLoot or CannaLootUp?
CannaLootUp.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So it's basically CannaLootUp is a flavor of LootUP. It's pretty much the same app, but branded and geared more towards the cannabis industry.
Oh, okay.
We've already have a lot of partners in the cannabis industry, and there's a huge need for it. You know, they're constantly worried about their funds being seized and frozen, and for them to accept debit cards or any cards at all, you know, they have to take unnecessary risk. So I feel like crypto really solves this.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Now, why build your own kind of infrastructure and then have your own decentralized apps on top of it? What was kind of the thinking behind that?
So we didn't plan on building legacy originally. LootUP was always our first priority. But after shopping around and researching all the different chains at the time, we decided, you know, to get all the features we wanted, to find a trusted team that we could be confident in, we just had to do it ourselves. And that's kind of where legacy came in. Yeah. And, but since then, there's been a lot of development in the space. So projects and chains like Phantom or XDC Network are coming out, and they're doing really cool things. So we'd love to, you know, have a multi-chain application and deploy on multiple networks. And ultimately, I feel like it'll be great for legacy and LootUP. So,
okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming back. Great to see you again.
Awesome.
Do your employees use Zoom? Do your employees use Microsoft Teams? Professionals need enhanced security. AdZerify's Defender for the only secure, zero-trust video conferencing protection. Your employees, clients, and patients deserve it.
Golden Developing Solutions is a development stage company providing business services and also products supporting health and wellness and technology. And with me is the CEO, Stavros Traian, to explain what the company is doing right now. So welcome, Stavros. Great to have you here. And
good morning. Excited to be here.
You're migrating, right? Like migrating from health and wellness cannabis to health and wellness pharmacy. So explain that transition, what it means, and what's the purpose behind it.
We had investments in the cannabis industry pre-COVID that we unwound and decided to look for a different path. And that was before COVID hit. Once COVID hit, we kind of sat and did a lot of research into, you know, what the best avenues are going forward. And coming out of COVID and a lot of the opportunities that were around, we were heavy into developing telemedicine and building out a telemedicine platform. The space got very crowded. We still love that area and have a number of infrastructure pieces kind of in place for that when the time is correct. And our pharmacy network and our physicians group in that kind of turned us on to these specialty pharmacies that are, delivering drugs to people that are not necessarily available through traditional retail pharmacies. And it was a very interesting and exciting business in a general not exciting industry. And as we started diving into it, a lot of the pieces of it kind of fit with what we wanted to do. So we just started going down that path, and things just sort of started falling in place, and financing became available, and different types of things. So we've moved very quickly from our side. It seems like it's moved quickly, even though it's been probably a year that we've been playing around in that sense. And there's a lot of opportunity, and we're very excited for, the coming years.
So explain, like I gave a little introduction, but explain exactly what it is from a consumer point of view, what you'll be selling, what you'll be doing.
So let's say there's a new drug that's been out for a year, 3 years, or 5 years. That's a higher dollar item that insurance may have an issue covering. The margins on it may be really, really low, where a lot of traditional retail pharmacies try to focus on a blend that has a lot of generics in it, which are higher margins and stuff that's very typical drugs or antibiotics in the industry. And some of the newer medications that may be out You know, a lot of doctors may know about it, but when they go to prescribe it, that may not be available, and you may get an alternate from a traditional retail pharmacy. Sometimes they're only available through specialty pharmacies, and they may have a significantly better impact on someone's health than some of the older styles. So if you've ever had a chronic condition, migraines or GI issues that you've been taking a drug for a long time, and for whatever reason, it hasn't worked necessarily as effective as it could, or it stopped working, then there's newer products out there, and you just may not be able to get those through the traditional sources.
Okay, so we're almost to the end of the year here. Talk about 2023. Sounds like acquisitions on your radar screen. What else do you have in store for next year?
Acquisitions are on the radar screen for sure. That could be a few, that could be way more than a few. The build out of infrastructure in the company to be able to transition those, absorb those, and manage those going forward is critical. So some of the things we've done or doing are, you know, building out an accounting and CFO, you know, types positions, COO type positions, marketing and sales, which is critical to sustaining the current environment on takeover, and also growing the availability and network and voice of those across the, you know, spectrum of doctors and physicians groups and patients. And so those are a lot of the focus going into next year, are the infrastructure pieces of the corporate, you know, overhead, and also the acquisitions, right? And so that'll soak up a pretty solid amount of the year, and every step we take brings opportunities that were unseen before. So it's very compounding in the sense of you start making a little bit of noise, and other noise comes at you that feels very synergistic.
That's true. So, well, thank you so much, Sandro, for telling us about the company and sharing, you know, what your goals are for next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thousands of people use Phantom every day to access DeFi, NFT, Metaverse, and GameFi decentralized applications. On Phantom, you can trade, lend, and borrow in a fully decentralized way with instant speed and near zero fees. Whether you're an artist or a collector, there's a rich and accessible NFT ecosystem to explore. Join your friends in the Metaverse for exciting digital experiences or play revolutionary Web3 games. Join Phantom today.
Do your employees use Zoom? Do your employees use Microsoft Teams? Professionals need enhanced security. AdZerify's Defender for the only secure, zero-trust video conferencing protection. Your employees, clients, and patients deserve it.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Secure is a platform that provides secure instant messaging, email, some other services as well. And with me is the CEO, Langahi. Great to see you again. I feel like it's been a few weeks since we've caught up on the company, and it's great to see you.
Yeah. Thank you, Jane. Happy to see everyone. And I was in Switzerland for several months. I know you know that because I came to see you a couple of times in New York, and now I'm spending the holidays in beautiful Canada. So it's still working though. Anyway, so yeah, it's nice to be back. Lots happening in the company as well.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. So we're toward the end of the year. I know it's been a very transitional, pivotal year for Secure. Kind of wrap up 2022, and then we'll talk about what's expected next year.
Sure. So it has been pivotal. You know, in 2021, we raised a lot of money to shore up the balance sheet, which is still extremely strong. Basically launching some new product, launching our sales in the US for the first time in late July. 2022 was a tough year in the market, definitely a tough year for our stock as well. We haven't been immune. However, the sales have been increasing. 2022, we should do roughly about 200% higher than 21. So that's really good. We have big plans for 23. So in 22, what we did is we improved more of the product. The secure messenger enterprise is pretty much almost done. We launched our secure mail application as we said we would. We have done a lot of improvement on the messenger and email as well. And we have increased our user base. We have over 5,000 users by the end of this year, and we're on track next year for a profitability path. So 2023, I'm going to break it down by quarters. So Q1 and Q2, we have a VPN coming out, secure VPN. We plan to launch secure voice, which will include a voicemail feature as well, which is kind of nice. We've seen in our show in the last year, as we discussed, that not having to disclose your phone number is a huge asset. We'll discuss in January the huge issue with the 500 million WhatsApp accounts that have been hacked because they have their phone numbers out. That'll be for beginning 23. We don't want to stress people now. But essentially, we are launching some new solutions. We're fully going full on with our enterprise solution. We have big demand for that. Latin America is going to pick up, and B2B. Because until now, what we've been doing is spending a lot of money on our consumers. As we increase B2B and reseller type solution, our CAC, our customer acquisition cost, is going to go down. And there was a report that came out discussing all of that as well.
Okay, well, that sounds like another interesting year ahead for you. So, and while we're on the subject of business, let's talk about this FRC research that was done on the company. As you mentioned, it's been a tough year. I feel like there's a lot of stocks that are undervalued just based on what we've been through. What did FRC research say about Secure?
Well, they update on a quarterly basis. It's the largest North American, I think definitely Canadian analyst report. And I want to tell people out there, because when you say that it's independent company pays for it, and we do pay for that report. We fully disclose it. You have two types of analysts. A bank, an investment bank, will do a report on your stock if they hold your shares, and within 30 days they have to disclose and do the report, etc. Or if you don't have an investment bank holding your shares, you as a company can go to an independent and pay them. But it's still highly regulated. Some people even say that it's more impartial because they don't own your shares. They have nothing to gain from your shares going up. You do pay for the service because they do distribution to Bloomberg, Reuters, Thomson, all these hedge funds or other funds and institutions. So you pay for that because there is a cost to distribution, there is a cost to research. So I want to put that out there. So this time they put a fair value buy target of 61 cents US, 83 Canadian. We have exceeded all their expectation that they had for Q3 in terms of sales growth and all the other thing. What I'm happy to see is that they do acknowledge that for 2023, at the end of 23, without any extra fundraising, we still will have 2 million Canadian dollars in the bank. And they do project full profitability, including marketing spend in 2025 to 2026. And they do acknowledge that we are spending 50% less in marketing and increasing our sales 50% or more, even though we reduce the marketing, and our loss should reduce by 50%. So there's a lot of information in that report. I recommend everybody to go to secureprivatedata.com, and on the investor section, you have a lot of information. One of them being that FRC research report. We also put up a news release, I think a week or so ago about it. You can click on a link and read the report because it gives you a full picture. What we do, what kind of products we're going to launch, who's our competition, and what is the market. So it's a lot more than just putting a price tag on the shares. So we're satisfied with that report.
Okay. I have been seeing a lot of emails from UPS, that a package is on the way. And I just, also alert people to be, they know, like these criminals know we're looking for packages and we're busy. So really take special care.
It's very smart. I mean, what you said is so true. I just got some from Australia. And I know I'm not picking up anything up in Australia, but you got the usual UPS, used to be DHL. I mean, I just got something from FedEx, but that's from our office in Toronto, and I was already suspicious that it is them. So be careful, any kind of package related or sign here, or you owe us a payment. People do all sorts of returns as well. So be very diligent in what you do, because you're right. Now is the time that they're going to send all of those. Then in January, it will be other things, right? It's seasonal. The hackers are smart. So definitely be diligent.
I was going to be alert. So, Alon, great to catch up. And I look forward to 2023 and more great stuff from Secure.
Same here. Thanks everyone for watching. If we don't see you at Christmas, happy New Year to everyone, and Merry Christmas to everyone, and really all the best of good health and prosperity for next year.
Thank you.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. If we didn't have partnerships and trust, nothing would move forward. We like to get to know the core of the client. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
Green Globe International is a consumer products incubator that particularly caters to the health and wellness space. And with me is Dr. Stuart Titus, the chairman of the board of Green Globe. And welcome. Great to see you.
Great to be with you this morning.
Tell us about the company. What is Green? Just give me what's your mission and what is it that you do?
Great. Green Globe International is a fast-moving consumer goods incubator, and we're dedicated to improving people's quality of life through intellectual property, through products, as well as technology.
Mm-hmm. And then also you're associated with Hempacco.
We are, yes. We have, we're a holding company. We have 3 divisions. Hempacco, NASDAQ listed under the ticker HPCO, one of our divisions, as well as we have Green Star Labs, which is a 50,000 square foot NSF certified manufacturing and production facility based in San Diego. And then we have a 3rd division, Hemp Box Vending, which is a vending and kiosk type of sales, marketing, and distribution channel for us.
So can you explain those 3 companies just a little bit and what maybe how they all contribute to the overall mission of the company?
Certainly. Hempacco was started as a hemp smokable company to disrupt tobacco. Certainly many tobacco smokers are seeing great benefit by smoking hemp because you have a high concentration CBD. And we now have morphed into a paper company because there's a tremendous interest in rolling papers and other blunts and wraps that individuals use to help deliver cannabis, cannabinoids, and other smokable herbs into the system. We also have Green Star Labs, which is a new acquisition for us as of the first of the year. This is a 50,000 square foot manufacturing facility based in San Diego. We've attained a very coveted NSF certification, which means we're at the top 1% of all dietary supplement manufacturers. So we do our own internal products as well as private label for many others within the industry. We have a lot of CBD, hemp CBD manufacturers that private label through us, as well as many other dietary and nutritional supplement manufacturers that use our services. And then finally, the hemp box vending with 600 dedicated kiosks that help us market and sell our products throughout the country. Unique form of delivery, certainly, into the marketplace, but these kiosks really help us to improve our product availability to consumers throughout the country.
And tell me about the NSF rating. So what does that mean exactly for the business?
Yes, this is a certification level that basically rates various companies who decide to go through the process. Basically, this is one step below pharmaceutical grade for its general cleanliness, standard procedures that allow us to manufacture at this very high level. So we go through extensive testing. We test product before it comes in. We test the finished product for the manufacturer or the for our own internal use, and certainly to have this high-level certification where only about 1% of all the dietary supplement manufacturers can attain this high level of certification certainly gives us a competitive advantage in the marketplace.
Interesting. So you've got a lot of hemp-based products. Explain, like, are these oils, ingestibles? Like, what are all the products that you provide?
Yes, we have a great number of products, everything from capsules, and then we have oils and tinctures, which are typical delivery, especially for cannabis-based products. We have gummies that we manufacture. We're very strong in the gummy field. We also have vape products, and then we have topical applications, skincare products, and then also that gets into cosmetic and beauty products as well.
Yeah. And then could you just explain a little bit about the macro environment of this industry? Because we know hemp is legal. It was made legal in the 2018 Farm Bill. Cannabis is legal in a little over half states, right?
It is for sure. Yes, we have 37 states with medical cannabis and 21 states with recreational or adult use cannabis. So certainly this has been a tremendous, emerging growth sector of the economy. We certainly employ a lot of individuals, and it's been wonderful to see the emergence of this non-psychoactive cannabis sector over the past 10 years or so. Certainly, this has, of course, moved its way through Congress to have legalization. We now bring hemp back as an agricultural crop to the U.S. after an 87-year absence. So certainly, this is moving us to a more sustainable and renewable type of economy.
Okay, very interesting to watch this grow, and we're all still waiting on federal legalization. I think people think that will happen, but it has been
yes,
slow.
for sure. But at least we've carved out this nice pathway in the non-psychoactive cannabis, the CBD industry, and certainly there are a huge number of consumers, about 64 million Americans who are regular CBD users now.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you so much, Dr. Titus, for joining us and explaining Green Glow.
Well, it's great to be with you this morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Welcome, everyone, to your Secure Privacy and Security segment. I'm Anna Berry, along with Elaine Guy, the CEO of Secure Private Data. Welcome, Elaine.
Thanks, Anna. Happy to be here. Hi, everyone.
All right, we've got a fun weekly hack for everyone. I don't know if you, our viewers, have seen this new Lensa filter. I've not done it because I've learned through you, Elaine, through our conversations, don't do this kind of stuff. But everyone's posting these pictures of themselves in a form of a goddess or a warrior or some beautiful, and they are beautiful images that are created by AI. But what we're talking about today, the dangers of these beautiful images and what is really happening to our data. Whose hands are they getting into? So Elaine, tell us what's going on with this Lensa app.
This Lensa app, which is pretty scary, and there's others as well now that I have heard that they essentially tell you, hey, take a photo, use this app, and it'll tell you how how you're going to look like if you're 65, 70, 80, whatever, how you age, or 30. And essentially it entices people to use these applications, give your facial recognition, and it's a trap because it's like, hey, it's fun. I want to look like, you know, how I look like as a superhero, or how will I look like in 10 years? Essentially, you are being fooled to give your facial recognition features. And you know, this segment is totally perfect timing, because yesterday I was watching, I just got back from Switzerland after several months of being there. It's such an amazing place because you don't have any of these kind of nonsense. You have full freedom. People are happy the way they are. And, you know, God created humans and animals in different shapes and forms. And I think this kind of application makes people even more insecure. And, you know, you don't need to look like a goddess to be beautiful, or like a god. But that's a different topic. But I was watching this whole thing on the Chinese credit system. It's an investigative report. The French people love doing those things. So if you have a French channel, probably not in the US, but you get all these reports on things that the mass market TV won't show you in North America. And essentially, it's about the facial recognition and all the software they use. There's one camera for 2 citizens in China. Now, you know, they have 1.4 billion citizens. And it is the social credit. So if you don't buy Mao Zedong's book, or if you criticize the government, your score goes down. It goes down to you can't even take public transport anymore. If you have a great credit, you may get free water in a vending machine. You know, it goes the gamut. I'm not saying, and as what's interesting is that they have a lot of people they interview, both in the US and China. And this whole credit score system, the social credit, means you have to be a good citizen and mold, and you're put in a box. Essentially, you have to follow rules. This was modeled after the credit system in the 1950s or 60s, the financial credit system that was created in the US. Because the Chinese said, how come, financially speaking, people in the US are responsible, but in China, they were not, and they cheat and this and that. So they created this controlling thing. Now, the good news in the US, you don't have a social credit system yet, but these applications that you give your entire facial feature, you're giving away data. Now, the big problem, besides giving away your entire life and, you know, DNA and data, you know, those DNA service too, like who was my great-grandfather? Well, you're giving away your whole DNA, by the way, when you do this testing, this gene testing. What's happening is who is storing that data? Mm-hmm. And are they safe enough to store, you know? No, they're not, because we all know everybody gets hacked. Like, we all go through that. And the big companies who are more interested in exploiting your data as opposed to safeguarding it will spend more money on capturing that data as opposed to safeguarding it. It's just like your emails, the same thing. So it's scary.
Right. And none of us are reading the fine print. I mean, maybe you are, but no one's reading the fine print of what they're actually going to do with our data, our image. And we're all guilty. If you've ever posted a picture on social media, they stole it. They've got it. Who knows what they're going to do with it? But that's why we're here talking about this, because I am reducing my social media footprint due to our conversations. I am making decisions differently when it comes to sending emails, sending my personal information. So let's tie in where secure comes into it, because it's really hard to wipe out all possible types of intrusions of our data, but we can take small steps. Tell us some steps that we can use your service.
Absolutely. So at Secure, the prime directive is to keep your privacy. So whether you use Secure Mail or email service, Secure Messenger, next year we're launching Secure Voice, Secure VPN, whatever you do with Secure, you know that it's stored in our own infrastructure in Switzerland. So it is not hosted with a third party hosting like a big cloud, like the big ones that we know. So that's, the privacy rules are different with those, obviously. And we also do not lend your data. We don't sell it and we don't rent it. I was reading something. I think the data lending business is a $185 billion a year business. So when you do a selfie or you give away or you use a big tech email or service, you are basically making close to 200 billion a year for the other big companies while they are exploiting you. I kind of just thought about it right now. It's basically data slavery. Okay, I'm coining it now. Data slavery is you are basically giving away, you are forced to give away your private life, your entire data down to your facial feature now. Because now you can pay with facial feature too. It's slavery because you're not being paid and you don't have a choice. So with Secure, at least you have the privacy. You do pay for it because you have to pay $5-10 a month, maybe less. But at least you know that your data is secure and private and we don't sell or lend it. It's against our rule. It's against the rules of Switzerland where we're hosted. And it's against our culture and our DNA. So that's critical to know. So have your regular email, have your meta chat or whatever for jokes. But if you're doing conversation between families have groups too, they have group chat. So your entire activity is being monitored, by the way, on that. So don't use those free applications. Buy like a 4 license or something, spend your $15-20 a month and you have privacy. So and that's how you can change, yeah.
What a great Christmas or Hanukkah gift for the holidays, right? Securing someone this deal because you're also giving a promo for our listeners, right?
Yes, so I'm going to do an exception and I'm going to give a different promo code today because it's Christmas and we all deserve a bit of good news. It's been a rough year for everyone. So this is the first time I'm giving away this promo code. It's only valid for, you know, if you sign up until the end of this year, because it will expire in January. I am giving 50% off, that's 50, to anybody who wants to buy monthly, yearly application, anything, and it's valid until January 1st. Let's make it January 2nd, 2023, because January 1st is the first day of the year and it's a holiday. So you get 50% off. Now, if you sign up on a yearly package, you already get 2 months free. So that equates to about 67% of the regular price. And that will be valid for 5 years. So if you renew without canceling, obviously, if you keep your auto renew, for the next 5 years, you have a 50% discount. Yearly, it's 67% off. And that's the only time I'm going to do it this year.
Great. So what's that promo code?
Promo code. Promo code is SECURE50, SEKUR50. And, you know, tell your friends, tell everybody, because privacy has no price. And I think everybody deserves a little bit of it at least.
That's so true. Well, as always, Elaine, learning a lot with you, and I enjoy these discussions and giving people an option to get their privacy back in control. So thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thank you, Anna. And in case next week there's no show, because I'm not sure they will air it or not, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, because it is Christmas and it's the religious holiday, I think, the most celebrated in the world. I think everybody can acknowledge that. And a Happy New Year and good health and prosperity for next year.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. If we didn't have partnerships and trust, nothing would move forward. We like to get to know the core of the client. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.